Shio, do you call the E IST? Kana Yegi, Kagwado. Good evening. Welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host. I'm your host. I am your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. And we're back with some more ghost stories. And I don't know, maybe that was a ghost taking over my body saying, welcome to your home. Oh, boo. Oh, ho, ho. So the last show, we scared everybody out of their wits for Halloween and All Hallows Eve. So now this is part two of real life Indigenous American ghost stories. And I have some guests here. We have our top storyteller, Donna Coane, and others. Let's see. And we have Allan and Donna. The main storyteller is Donna. She's got stories for days. Donna, how are you?
I sure do. Welcome, everybody. And thank you, Fierce, for having me back on. It's an honor and a pleasure, as always. And
Likewise.
yeah, I have some things that I didn't talk about last time. At least I don't think so.
Mm.
And my one friend asked me to repeat one story from last time because I guess it
Mm.
was so good. So, anyways, I'll do that too. And
Okay.
I thought I would start off with the when I was the youngest, what happened to me.
Yeah.
And this is something that I didn't talk about last time. So I had this small little bedroom, right, and at my parents, and I was asleep, and I was woken up by tickling of my feet, and I couldn't see anybody at the end of the bed, but I could feel it. There was something there tickling my feet. And when I looked down at my shoes, my sneakers, they were like pounding on the floor. They're like doing this thing, like moving up and down like my hands are. And and I just like pulled the covers over my head and went, oh nope, not tonight. I went back to sleep, but it was really crazy because um, I was so young, so it kind of like it startled me, but it didn't, you know. But ever since that time, I will not go to bed. I don't care how hot it is. I will never go to bed without socks on. So now
Really?
always been like that. I'm not gonna have someone tickling my feet in the middle of the night. So I feel like if I put on socks, it'll protect my feet. So that's something that happened when I was really, really young. And then when I was a little bit older, I woke up to two men walking in their yard in the middle of the night talking. And I did get up to look. And when I looked through the curtains, I could see two men, but they weren't like solid men when they were walking through our yard. And they were talking, they're having a conversation with each other. And they didn't notice me looking through the curtains, I guess. But then again, it was dark in the room. It was dark outside, but I could it was weird because how dark it was, I could still see them, that they were translucent. I could still see them, that they were talking, and hear them that they were talking. They never looked at me. They never knew I was there, but I knew they were there. So I thought that was weird. My parents
You froze again, Donna. You may need to refresh your screen. Okay. Donna froze again, so we're just going to wait until she comes back You have to go out and come back in. And okay, she's off now. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me see what's going on. If she's backstage.
That's the point.
Okay, no, she's not backstage. But yeah, these are some creepy stories. And, all of us have experienced something that's out of the ordinary, what they call paranormal, you know. Myself, I have a few, nowhere near as many as Donna. I mean, you know, I know people who have had, stories that were, really unbelievable and things like that. But compared to Donna, no, I've had, maybe a handful or a little bit less than a handful. No, I've had about a handful. Let's see. One particular story that here she is. She's back. I was about to tell one, but she's back. She's backstage. Let me bring her back in.
It is so bad here.
Yeah.
Internet is horrible here. So, anyways, I don't know what last you heard. I guess
While you were talking a little bit, got cut off. I say about maybe 45 seconds got cut off.
Okay, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. Hopefully, I hold on to everybody. So,
okay.
I was much younger, and I was asleep in my little tiny bedroom there, and I got woke up to tickling of my feet. And when I woke up, I didn't see anybody in my bed, but I could feel there was someone there, and they were tickling my feet. And when I could hear this noise like on the floor, and I looked, it was my sneakers. My sneakers were like moving up and down like this, like my hands are, and by themselves. And I was like, what's going on here? And so I just took the covers and just threw them over my head and said, okay, that's enough of that. I was probably like, I would say 7 years old or so. And then after that, I heard two men talking, um, down like the front of my parents' yard, right? I heard two men talking, and I got up, I looked out the window and spread out the curtains a little bit, and I could see these two men. They were translucent like, but they were talking to one another, carrying on conversation, but yet they didn't see me, but I could see them. So I thought, well, okay, I guess we're just playing ghost and they're not going to bother me, so I'll just go back to bed. So I went back to bed at that time. And then another time when I was much older, it was Christmas Eve. And I was woken up by a woman down the foot of my bed, and I'm pretty sure it was my aunt. That's what I sensed who it was. I could kind of see the outline of her, and I was like, okay, I see this figure, and I pictured that as it being my aunt. I think she was like checking on me, just seeing how I was, you know, and just kind of showing up to visit, I guess. But I ended up in another bedroom. That did it to me. I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I'll go in someone else's bed. And I did. But yeah, so um they were odd. And last time I talked about when my father would do this, it was a beef and carrots and potatoes in a Dutch oven outside with coals underneath it and red wine. And we all loved it. And me and my cousin went in to use the bathroom, and I ended up running into a man, and I put my hand on his chest, which I felt, and as I put my hand on his chest, he disappeared, and
Oh, wow.
he was all dark, completely like a shadow, but yet you can tell it was a man. And we thought it was my cousin messing around. So me and my other cousin, we ran out of the house like balls of fire. We were out of there. And my cousin was outside. He wasn't even in the house. There was no one in the house but us.
Hmm.
That ended that right there. It's like, well, we're only going in the house if someone else goes in the house with us. But it's a very strange neighborhood. And in my youth, seeing things like these blob beings, like white blobs, female, male, kind of shortish, like 4 foot about, and waving her arms back and forth, side to side. And me and my cousin, I was like, oh, let's just sit here and see who they are. When they got like, I would say 8 feet from us, we took off running. We were like, nope, not having it.
Oh, no.
Oh, I think you froze again, Donna.
7 mostly night.
Let's see.
We were out of there.
Oh, okay. You're back now. You went out for about maybe 45 seconds.
Okay, so the white blob's there. The white blob is 2 female males, like 4 foot tall.
Oh, you went out again. You went out again, Donna.
Waving her arms back and forth.
You went out again, Donna.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my take away. Let me ask him to do something. I don't think he's getting his text though. So, anyways, I guess you heard about the blobs, right?
We didn't. We just heard that as soon as you started talking, it went back off again. We heard something about the blobs, and then you went off.
Okay, so the blobs were 2 female males. They're like 4 foot tall, and they were waving their arms back and forth, coming up my parents' road as me and my cousin sat on the fence, and we waited until they got like 8 feet to us, and then we took off. We were like out of there. But they were translucent. You could see through them. But there were 2 blobs, female and male. It was really strange. And then, so now if we go into the time now, hopefully you can hear me still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. We'll go up to Lake George. Now, I was like, I would say 30 something when I was up there, when all this happened. We went, I had my daughter, my son with me, and her boyfriend with us. We went into the wax museum up in Lake George. And when we got down this one hallway, it was kind of dark. I had turned around, me and Patrick had turned around, and I had seen this man standing there, like coming towards us. But he wasn't a human. He was a man, but he wasn't one of us. And so I was trying to push my daughter and her boyfriend, go, just go, But no, that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening at all. They were just like, kind of like, there and not moving. And so, out of fear, I guess, but we finally got out of there. Later that night, around 11, they had a okay, there we go. So after the wax museum, we went over to Fort Henry in Lake George for a ghost tour at like 11 o'clock, right? It was late. So when the ghost tour started, the woman says, has anyone seen the ghost in the wax museum? And I was like, oh God, here we go, So I wasn't sure whether I should say something or not, but I finally said, Yeah, I did see him. You know, me and my son saw him, and I felt like he had died of a heart attack. And he
Mm.
was just staying in the wax museum. He was kind of stuck in the wax museum. And
Oh
she said,
wow.
"That's absolutely right." I was like, okay, now they're interested in me, you know, and I'm like, no, you know, don't be interested in me. I want to see your ghost tour, you know. And so then we went through their ghost tour, and
You went out, Donna. You went out, Donna. Yeah, they have a
you know,
lot
it
of.
was
Oh, okay, you're back now.
okay. I might
You
have
went
to
out
switch.
for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I might have to switch upstairs because this keeps going on in and out. No one's answering me up there. So if you
Mm,
want to talk while I step away, I'm going to
sure.
go check upstairs to see what's going on. Because if
Okay.
they're on a bunch of things, it'll stop me down here.
Okay.
So I will be right back. You can talk about, you know,
I got you. I'm gonna hold you down.
okay.
Yeah. So, well, actually, we have another guest here. I don't know if our guest wants to
Here.
share a ghost story.
Is it?
Allan.
Yeah. Is the mic on now? Can you hear me there now?
Oh, I hear you perfectly,
All right.
loud and clear.
Very some. Yeah, she had Donna had some very interesting stories, and when I met up with her a couple years ago, she always told me that she had a lot of ghost stories. She said we should get together just to go over some of them.
Mm,
And I guess when she was mentioning when she was young, all these little things, I've had, I'm going to go back to the 60s and little things that have happened, which I can never explain. Um, just simple things like I remember being at my house and when I was about 7, 8 years old, and my mother, she took out she took my younger brother for a ride in a carriage. And I don't know if
mm,
you remember the older carriages where they had the springs and they were always noisy.
mm-hmm,
And so, so they, so they would, they took off with my stepdad. And about 15 minutes later, I'm in the house by myself, and
mm,
I hear the carriage, like you could hear those springs,
mm-hmm,
and sounded like it went right by the window towards the door, and I was waiting. There was someone coming in, and no one came in. And I
mm,
ran outside and I looked. There was no one there.
mm.
And but about 10 minutes later, they did come back, and I told my mom, and I said, "Were you just here?" And she said, "No." So I'm just wondering if these little things, if there's meanings behind them.
Mm,
When when you hear something like that, or if you heard a voice or something,
mm-hmm,
and but again, that was just little things. And when Donna said the story about in the bed, see, I had I had a similar situation when I was young where, and my mom laughed at me because it was like someone came in the room and basically pulled my blanket off me.
mm.
I could see a figure at the end of the bed,
Oh
but
wow.
I did I went to tell my mother after. I was obviously afraid, and
Mm-hmm.
she just said I was having a nightmare. But I swear the blanket was on the floor and everything else. So yeah, so those little things can happen, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And my grandmother always told me the story from the reservation that she woke up during the night, like early in the morning, and she said there were two little girls standing at the end of her bed.
Mm,
And she actually saw these girls a couple months later at a foster, that were out there to be for foster children. So
mm,
I don't understand. Like I'm trying to figure out why or how
mm.
like that image came up like that. It was almost
Right.
like, you know, I wouldn't know. I don't know if that would be a premonition, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she
Yep.
swore that she saw these two young girls, and
Mm,
then she actually saw them in person a few months later. but my grandmother, she was always working with the Children's Aid Society up in Canada.
Mm.
She took over the years she took 64 different foster children.
Oh wow.
So when I would go to the reservation and visit my grandmother, I used to enjoy being there for the summer because there was always different kids there at my grandmother's
Mm.
place. She always had foster children.
Mm.
But again, I always wonder how that all tied in, and again, the premonitions, or if that's part of the spiritual, or I mean, do you have any stories like that, like something like that?
Yeah, well, the last show that we did, I told a similar story of me having a dream, and I dreamt that for some reason I dreamt that I had gotten locked up and sent to jail, and there was a guy that was in there, and you know how they start fighting and stuff like that. They want to start a fight and jump somebody, and
Yeah.
this one guy, he was like the main character. And so I woke up from the dream, very vivid dream, and I was like, wow. So I started getting on my clothes and getting ready for work, and I go to work, and sure enough, I see the same guy from my dream riding on a bicycle coming past me on my lunch break on my job, walking out of the building. He's coming on a bicycle.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The same guy from the
Crazy.
dream. I've never met him in my
Well,
life.
well, I'm going to give you a current situation right now where I'm in an apartment now, and we're on a second floor, and this building is over about almost 115 years old.
Mm.
And we found out a few years ago that the people that live next door to us, they her husband passed away 3 or 4 years ago, but he was actually born in the room that
In our bed.
in our bedroom. So they used
Mm.
to own it. He grew up in this house,
Mm-hmm.
and I have not experienced it myself, but I've heard that um, my girlfriend's daughter here, that she has seen like a flash of a young boy.
In the basement.
Mm.
Yeah, like in our basement, and
Oh.
so I always think that that's possible. That's part of like I said, someone will come back, or some spirit is still here,
Mm-hmm.
and we have. I know my girlfriend has stories about little things too that have
Mm.
happened, and
Really?
yes, you've heard voices like
Oh,
names?
we always hear our names being called.
Yeah. A
Especially-
lot
Oh.
of
Here?
times I'll hear
Oh, yeah,
her
here.
calling me.
Yeah, you just heard me last
Yeah.
week calling for you.
Yeah, we have the voices that will that'll call. I'll call her name, and then
Mm.
really,
No, I didn't call you. But yet you hear your voice, the voice so vividly calling out your name. It's weird.
Mm.
but that's
Oh,
why
wow.
I would always like to know the history of over 100 years of history here. There had to be things happening here, or and to be honest, when we first came here, the bathroom had these like little red drops
Oh yeah.
on
Well,
the wall.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just weird. It was just
Wow. Oh man.
weird.
But going back to that little boy my daughter saw, he was actually dressed like in that time period where the guy who was born in the room
Mm.
might have looked at that time.
Hat.
He had
Oh
like
wow.
a newsboy hat on his head, those little caps.
Mm-hmm.
And he just looked from that time, and she saw him vividly standing there.
Oh wow.
She swears by it, and I believe her.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But as a state, Connecticut is so rich in history here of spiritual.
You better believe it.
The 300-400 years, and there's been so many, like we have the hotel that's up in is it Torrington, or up there? I think it's Torrington, where there's a hotel that they say has been haunted for years.
Oh, hold on 1 second. This is Donna.
Okay.
This is Trina. Hey, Donna. Oh.
So it's gonna reset the router.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the fort for the hospital.
Okay. We'll wait for you. All righty. See you then. Right, right. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Oh, okay. Windows 7. Mm. Okay. Hold on 1 second, Donna. Yeah, so Alan, if you want to continue. Oh, here she is right here. Yeah. Okay, you're in. I see you in the backstage.
Oh, all right, much better.
Okay.
Of course, I left my notebook downstairs. Uh,
All right, so we can hear you on the screen now. So I'll hang up.
um,
Yeah. So you're live and in
I
effect.
am live. Can you?
Well,
Oh, you
actually, not live. It's
see me.
pre-recorded. But,
You can see me
yeah,
now
you're on the screen in the dark.
in the dark.
You just see lights.
Let me see. I turn on the light a little bit. I know that dark.
There we go.
Is that a little bit better? Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay. All right. As you can tell, I have some. I still have Halloween up in my house
Okay.
because I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. So us natives don't do that. So I still have Halloween stuff up. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I don't know where I off. Let's kind of start this all over again. Now that I
Okay.
can, now that I'm up here and better internet and I won't disappear. So and that's the light shining in the glass behind me.
Mm-hmm.
The lights on. Oh well. But anyways, I was talking about being small and sleeping in my bed and being woke up with the tickling of my feet. And I couldn't see anybody there, but I felt there's something there. They were tickling my feet. And then when I heard this noise on the floor, I realized it was my sneakers that were being moved, like in place, like this, like my hands are doing, like moved. And yeah, I was like, okay, that ends that. So I put the covers over my head and went back to sleep. And then the other thing was also being woken up to men talking. and they were like kind of translucent, but you could tell they were men. But they were walking up my parents' yard, and they couldn't see me, but I could see them. And that was my experience. Again, I just went back to sleep. I said, okay, they're not going to hurt me, so okay, I'm going back to sleep. And then the other time was I saw my aunt. My aunt had passed like years before that, and I saw her completely clear, very clear, at the end foot of the bed. And I ended up going in someone else's bed. I think she was like checking on me, maybe, or something. You know,
Yeah.
we were pretty close. So, yeah, that was kind of very interesting. And then, so I had started talking about Lake George, and we kept getting cut off. Lake George was a little bit later, and it was very interesting because we went to the Wax Museum. It was me, my son, my daughter, and her boyfriend that were up there for like kind of a vacation. And in the Wax Museum, I could hear someone walking behind me and my son. My daughter and her boyfriend were in front of us walking. Me and my son were behind them. And when I turned around, my son turned around, we saw this man. He was pretty solid, but he wasn't one of us. We could tell he wasn't one of us. But he was walking, and he started to walk faster. And then I was trying to push my daughter, go, 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 and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, just go, move it, And so later that night, we went on the ghost tour to Fort Henry, and in Lake George, and they had a ghost tour at 11 o'clock, so we went to it. And when the tour first started, the woman giving the tour said, has anyone seen the ghost in the Wax Museum? And I was like, oh boy, here we go. Ghost in the Wax Museum, So I raised my hand and I go, yeah, I saw the ghost in the Wax Museum. And what I told my kids that was that I felt like he died of a heart attack. And that, and the other thing I missed before was that I felt like he was a worker, someone that had worked there, but he died in the Wax Museum. And so when a woman told everybody who he was a worker, and he did die of a heart attack in the Wax Museum. So I actually got it right. But because I told her that, first, before she told me that. And then she got interested in me, and I'm thinking, oh God, let's do the tour. Never mind me, let's just do the tour. So okay, we go through the whole tour. Very strange, like very sad area, because it was the French and Indian War with the British, and there's a lot of British and French and Mohegans that died there. So I mean, it was really, really a sad area. And so when the tour ended, me and my son had parked in their parking lot, which was kind of we either had to walk through their lawn, like a hilly lawn, to get to the parking lot, or he had to go down through the village and walk on the sidewalk and then come up in the parking lot that way. So me and my son, I decided let's shortcut it through the hill, through the grass. So we did. As we got, like, I would say maybe 30 feet, I could hear men talking. I could hear muskets going off, right? Like cannons and muskets, and I could hear men talking. And I could hear men, like, running, like, And I looked at my son and I said, run. And so I'm running. My son is still walking. He's just walking through it. I was almost all the way to the car, and he's like still walking through the lawn. I was like, I'm not going to stay in that mess too much longer. I'm out of here. But yeah, that was very strange because it was so loud. It was loud. And, my son said, oh, Mom, it's fireworks. Do you see fireworks anywhere? There's no fireworks. It's not fireworks. It was definitely cannons and muskets going off, because you almost could smell the muskets, kind of. You can hear the men talking, you can hear them running and rustling, and it was crazy. So that's a very haunted area. And recently, me and my cousin went on vacation up there this summer, and we went to Fort Henry, and they now have a lot of new things there. They have this one new building, it's like a you walk into the building, and it's like a garage-sized door opening, and in it has actual artifacts and actual some bones from some of the people that died there. They did
Mm.
a dig there, and I I decided to check it out, and I walked a little bit into it and said, nope, not doing this. It was just, it gave me the woolies so bad. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not even going to stay in there for another minute. So I didn't really look around in there. I just walked in and just saw certain things. I was like, I'm out of here. So I didn't stay in there. I wasn't about to stay in there, but I left. But yeah, that's a very strange town. I mean, even with the lake itself is haunted from a tourist boat that sank, and it sank with a lot of people in wheelchairs and disabled people. So that's an ongoing story about the lake being haunted, you know. So that was happening, and
Mm.
I just really that was kind of one of the most influential memories I have of Lake George with walking through that property there, you know,
Mm.
um, like alongside the fort, and it's just so bizarre, and
Wow.
yeah, because you can hear and smell and everything, and to see something I don't think I actually saw anyone, but the sound was there. I don't think because it was so long ago, maybe they just couldn't come all the way through. They're
Mm.
like stuck, and it's stuck, you know,
Mm-hmm.
stuck between the two realms,
Yeah.
So spirit world and here just stuck.
Mm.
And but, yeah, it was really, really strange. And it kind of reminded me of the time when we were me and my daughter, she was little, like about 3, I would say. I was invited by one of my elders to this gathering this one night across the river from us, which was in like a Sopus. And I had the house address, I had the letter, and I decided, come on, let's go. We'll go. I'll go. I'll take Laura with me. So I took my daughter with me, right? And we get to where the house is. There's a long, long driveway. There's only one car in the driveway. And I was a little bit late, and there's only one car in the driveway. I thought, I'm not going to that house. I mean, I don't even know who these people are, except for some of the people that were going to this house. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So me and my daughter, we continued driving up that road, and when we got about 100 feet from the driveway, now it's all wooded on the left hand side, all woods, completely woods, right? There's no other house on that road but that one house off of that road, right? I
Mm-hmm.
went, all of a sudden I got this feeling, what's this? And I turned and I looked into the woods. It was all cleared out in like a circle. There was these men and women in hooded cloaks with hoods over them,
Mhm.
and there was a fire in the center, and they were all just standing there doing something, right? With their cloaks on, with their hoods on, and I thought, oh boy, I'm not gonna stop to, you know, investigate that. I'll keep going. So I kept going. So when I got up on the top of the hill, you can only go left or right. So I decided, nope, I'm just gonna turn around and go back down. I want to see if they're still there. So I come back down, right, and I'm looking. What the heck? The woods were all back to being full woods.
Mm.
No clearing, no fire, no people, all
Mm.
cleared. So I thought, I
Sounds
did turn around.
like druids.
Yeah, I did turn around and looked again. Yeah, it was just, there was no clearing, and I was like, so I was telling one of my friends about it, just recently about what I was, about the show and stuff, and just recently. And I told her about seeing these, people, right? And she says, maybe you were looking at the entrance to a portal.
That's what I was thinking.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah, I never
because
thought of that until you
it's
mentioned it.
Sound like maybe
Yeah.
it was some maybe druids doing a ritual or something and opened a portal from back, in the
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. And open that portal. And I happened to see that portal, you know, and I was like, but me and my daughter, we ended up going to Burger King and we got some food and she went in the play thing. One of my friends, one of the women I know that I worked with had her granddaughter there. So her and her granddaughter played and we ate and got the kids food and that so much for the meeting. And do you know that no one actually said, hey, where were you or anything? It was
Mm,
so weird. But I got the
mm.
letter. And I still have the letter today somewhere. I saved the letter, but I thought that was so strange. That was the weirdest thing ever.
Wow.
And it kind of reminded me of the neighborhood here with the neighborhood that I live in now, where we had this guy come up in a cloak, always had the hood over, and he would stop in front of our house and just stare at our house. And after years and years of dealing with that, I decided that I was going to sit outside the edge of the road in our yard and wait for this dude. Well, I did. And when it got up to me, I realized this guy has no face.
Mm,
Literally has no face. I was like, this guy has no face. I'm
mm.
like, so I turn around and I'm like running up the little hill of our yard to get back into the house. I was like, nope, I don't want to have a conversation with him. I don't want to go where he's going.
Mm.
So that ended that real quick. Yeah, it was really crazy. And, seeing these crazy beings, you know. And we have
Mm.
some new people in here. So,
Yes.
Allan and Veronica, I miss seeing you guys. And, anyways, I will talk about my friend's house because my friend wanted me to talk about this again. Actually, oh, Bobbie's in. Yay, Bobbie's in here. Okay, cool. So, hey, Bobbie. And
Hi.
so, anyways, hi. So,
Sorry I'm late.
that's all right. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you.
So, Bobbie asked me to talk about the story again. So, Bobbie's house is quite interesting. Um, she called me and said that she wanted me to come and do some smudging and do a native ceremony, and that she had this being in there that was needed to be released. And I remember sitting on Bobbie's couch for years and saying, there's something here, right? And so I went over to Bobbie's. I did the words before all else. I did spirit song. And after that, I said a few words for his parting, you know. And then we went and we sat in our dining room and we ate. I was facing the living room and I kept seeing these people, mostly women, coming in and crying and leaving, coming in, crying and leaving, coming
Mm.
in and crying and leaving. I was like, and this was like on for like an hour. Meanwhile, we thought like what 3 other people were supposed to come besides me, and they never showed up. I was the only one that showed up. So she had 2 pizzas. She had all these chicken wings. She had a big bowl of cherries. She had salads, like 2 bowls of salads, and I think you had 2 pizzas actually, because we thought more people were coming, and then this big thing of tea, and we ate all the food ourselves between the 2 of us, all of it. We just kept eating and eating and eating, right? And never felt like we were hungry. We just kept eating and eating and eating. I told Bobbie, let's switch places. You see what I'm seeing. So we switched places. She's seeing like more of tubular spirits, where I was seeing the actual formation of spirits. And um, it was just a crazy night, and I didn't get home until like 2 in the morning. And I think I got there what at 6, Bobbie. I think 6
About
or 7. Yeah, about. And I didn't get home until 2 in the morning. Both of us. She went out and had a full breakfast. I went out and had a full breakfast after eating all that food. So
Well, I think what was going on is that people were coming and paying their respects to the deceased, and the deceased was able to be parted away, right? The deceased was a person that was murdered, right, Bobbie,
Yes.
through time?
Not by
And
me.
not by you, no. Not by me neither, no. Not by anyone we know. It was from years ago, and he was buried there. And so, anyways, um, we released him and let him go, back to the spirit world where he belongs,
Mm.
And I think we were eating for all the people that were coming too. We
Mm.
just kept eating and eating, and it was crazy. I never felt like I was blown up or nothing. It was like I just had a regular meal, but it was so crazy. I never ate that much in my whole life. It was so crazy. So that's probably so anyways, Bobbie wanted me to tell the story again. So anyways, I
Yeah, I
can't
remember
really,
that from the last time.
yeah. So we keep the location private though. But anyways, it was very, very interesting. It reminded me of another story that I told last time, um, about the two Victorian girls. My mother's dietitian and nurse wanted someone to smudge her house and do something. And
Mm.
she didn't really tell me why, but she was saying that she was trying to sell her house and she couldn't. And her brothers were really going after her about the sale of the house. So I said, okay, I'll come and smudge your house, right? So I first walked around the outside of it, I believe. Did I go around? No, I went on the inside first. I first went on the inside, and when I went in the living room, very old house, I could see two Victorian girls dancing in a circle, right? And I didn't say anything to her, but then when we went outside, they were outside by an old oak tree dancing in a circle. And I was like, huh, wonder if she knows this. So then we continued to walk around the outside, and I got this really, like, I could smell death. Like, I could just sense that something happened by these stairs. I said, is there an apartment, or is that just a basement down there? I feel like there's an apartment that once was down there. She said, yes, it was an apartment once down there. And I said, someone died right here at the top of these stairs on the lawn right here. She said, yeah, my tenant did. He died of a massive heart attack. So I said, well, I feel like he's moved on. I don't feel like he's stuck here. It's just that I knew that someone died there. So, okay, so we go inside the house, and I finally decided to tell her about the Victorian girls. So I said, you have two Victorian girls dancing in the corner of your living room in a circle. She goes, oh, I had a person here that actually saw them too. I was like, okay. So it confirmed that yes, there's two Victorian girls dancing there, right? And so after that, we went and I smudged the whole house inside and out, smudged outside. We lit a candle. I forgot to bring a candle holder, so she gave me a saucer. So we went outside on her table, and I put the candle onto the saucer. We lit it. Hot summer day, no breeze, no wind, no nothing. Still air, right? Put the candle on there, lit it. We went inside. We must have had like 10 cups of tea. I don't know how it wasn't flying off the handles because with a lot of caffeine. But we kept drinking this tea. We kept eating these biscuits, and oh my god, it was so crazy. And I forgot about the candle. So I said, oh my god, let's check on the candle. Like hours went by. We go out, and the candle had went out. It melted in a perfect flower. Perfect flower. So I said, you know what? That's a gift from the girls. Put it on your mantle. You will sell this house. Right? And so now we go back in the kitchen. She says, I'm going to go upstairs and use the bathroom. I said, okay. So I'm downstairs. All of a sudden, it's black, just black. Oh, I can't even explain it. It wasn't like a formed shadow. It just black darkness that went out the kitchen door and just left. And I got from it that it was in relation to the girls. It was the father of the girls that were keeping them there. These girls were probably abused, and he was the abuser, and he was keeping them there. And that's what I felt like what was going on. you know, and that was confirmed up. That was what it was. And anyways, yeah, I I was just I wasn't like overly like high from all this caffeine. I was fine, you know, but I think it was, you know, something that maybe we both just needed, you know, just time to talk and just talk everything out, you know what I mean? Um, but
Mhm.
I found out that about a week or so later, she did sell the house. The house sold. So
Oh
what
wow.
what I did helped her, you know, and it helped get rid of what was there, stopping her from selling this house, you know. Because who wants to go walking into a haunted house and say, "Okay, I'll buy it"? You know what I mean? Who would want to do that, you know? So, well, some people do, you know, but most people don't, you know. But yeah, that was one of the crazy ones. And also, you know, talking about, we almost have a like 8 minutes left, I think. I don't know what we have left, but we I see a lot of ghost animals too. Um, my friend's dog, oh, she was so cute. She was part Labrador and part Beagle. She was the friendliest dog, so cute, and all black dog, and not really looking like a beagle. She looked like a black fox more than anything. And my we used to go everywhere with my daughter and her dog and her, and you know, and her dog finally passed. And one day I went to pick up my friend, and I said, "Huh, that looks like your dog." She goes, "It does. Look it. She's dancing in the grass." And yeah, it was her dog we were seeing. Yeah, saying, "Hey, look it, I'm happy," you know. But yeah, it was like clear as day, her dog.
Wow.
And, and then it just, after a while, it just disappeared. You know, it just left and disappeared. And you know, and even here, I sense my third Dane here a lot. Like me and Romo will be in the living room because my fourth Dane is a couch potato, and we're in the living room, and I could hear a tags hitting the dish out there, dog dish, and I'm like, Roma's in here. There's no dog out there.
Mm.
And you know, I felt like it. I felt like it was the third day, you know, just coming here. And every once in a while, I hear hear her walking through the kitchen when Roma's in the living room on the couch. And
Mm.
even Roma's like lifted up her head and actually went out and to look, you know. So
Mm.
I think she sensed it too. But yeah, you know, I hear her here, you know, quite often, and
Wow.
it's pretty crazy. And then, of
Mhm.
course, our own neighborhood here, we've seen, you know, things here, of course. Oh, the two men here. One of my daughter's old boyfriends from years ago, they got in a fight. He took off outside in the dark, late at night, and went into the woods. Don't go in those woods. It's a bad idea. So he comes out, right? He's walking it down the road, right? And he comes in and he says, there was two men talking like in the woods, and you know, it sounded like they were like up in the trees looking down at me, and they were talking, and then they came behind me on the road. I could hear their footsteps, and they were behind me, following behind me, talking on the road, right? And
Mhm.
I told him, I said, that's why you don't go in the woods. Stay out of these woods. You don't go in the woods. But yeah, there are freaky things here too, especially the farmer's daughter that we used to see. But since I've salted my property, we haven't seen nothing here, really. It's been
Mm.
completely quiet, you know. So
Mhm.
I smudged it and salted it, and it's been completely quiet. But,
Oh no.
you know, yeah, outside here. But, yeah, when the neighbors first moved in across from us, um, you know, I told them about, after a while, before they moved again, I told them about the ghost in our neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. But they're like, I'm glad you didn't tell us that when we first moved in. Oh, God,
Mm.
so much. But oh, and then the group. I'll leave with a really good one of our group. So we used to do a lot of gigs down in New York City when it first started out. You know, all the way up until COVID started. We were doing gigs in New York City, and this one. Our producer always had us on a bunch of things in one day, one weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know. Oh, go here, go there, Friday. Oh, Saturday, you got this, go here, go there, go over there. Oh, you got this over here. Oh, and Sunday, we need you down here again, so you got this and this. It was always like that for like the first 2 years that we were all together, you know. It was crazy. So this one weekend, we had ended at Pete Seeger's Song Circle in Greenwich, right? And after it was over, we were all getting ready to leave, right? My uncle was a driver. We had a van, and he was a driver. And I believe it was me, Nona, and Debbie that were outside talking to this man. This man came up to us and said how he loved us, you know, enjoyed us, you know, and, you know, do you have a business card? I physically handed him a card. He took the card, and he said, have a safe trip home, ladies. Thank you. He crossed the street. We watched him. We all three watched him. He went across the street, walked about 2 footsteps, and disappeared in thin air. He was gone. There was nowhere for him to go. He didn't go in a door. He didn't go nowhere. He just was walking on the sidewalk and disappeared. And I looked at the girls. I was like, time to go. We all got in the van and left. Now we're on the Taconic Parkway, which is a very rough road. Really rough kind of highway. Not really a highway, but 2 lanes, 3 lanes sometimes. But it on the way back, you have very little room, first off, 2 lanes. You have guardrail here, then you have a wood wall here, a couple sections, with a curve, it curves. So it's like a blind curve, really, you know. Out of the blue, this dark thing came out in front of the van, shut the whole van down. Now, me and Debbie were the only ones that saw the black thing go in front of the van. When the black thing went in front of the van, the whole van went dark and just stopped. Here we are. We're like, oh, great. We're going to get rear-ended. You know, it's like 2 a.m, you know, we're going to get rear-ended. So we all put our flashlights on our phone, right, so that we could be seen. And it took an hour for the dealership to come with another van. So we all got home like 5 a.m. We had to be up again at 6 to be down in New York City again. None of us got sleep. It was horrible. Oh my God. And yeah, it was nuts. And you know, I'll never forget that with that guy just disappearing in thin air. Oh, and then real quick, I don't know how much time we have left, but this is a good one. My Debbie's Volvo station wagon has always been haunted. And one day she decided to let me drive it. We'll go down in her vehicle. And my GPS sent me to an Army Reserve. And the girls were yelling at me, you always argue with GPS. I go, no. It sent me to, you know, an Army Reserve. This ain't where it's supposed to be. I know how to get to Clearwater Revival. We have to go around the circle and go to that road over there, right? So I go up and I turn around, right? And I'm like, I can't turn in the Army Reserve. No. So I come back and we finally get there, right? We go to leave and Nona sees a whole seat go back on its own. Her eyes are as big as saucers, right? Because someone's already sitting there. Well, I had told Debbie when she first got it, I said, the reason why I have all this weird stuff go on with it is because it's haunted. The guy's name's Roger Williams. He died in a car accident. He was a Vietnam vet. And she goes, how do you know that? I said, I don't know. I just know that. I just know that. I don't know. Right? I came out like that, you know. I said, I don't know. I just know that, right? And so she goes, one day we were talking, and it was like a old war radio on her end and my end. And we're going, Donna, Debbie, can you hear me? I said, let me call you back. Okay. So then we hung up, called her back, and then it was gone. But it sounded like those radios they used in Vietnam that was going off in the car. And then one day, I was on the phone with her, and she's like, my lights just went on all by themselves. I said, well, go out and turn them off. You'll have a dead battery. Right? She goes out there, right? She turns them off, right? And her car's locked, but the car goes and unlocks all by itself after she locks it. So she locks it again and goes in, right? I said, I'm telling you, it's Roger messing around with you. And then a few days later, her car had army time on it. She calls me. My car has army time on it. I don't know it has army time. I said, I'm going to take it to the dealership. I said, I wouldn't do that. So no, I'm going to take it to the dealership. It still has army time on it. I can't get it off. So she goes to the dealership. She tells the dealership, I have army time that's stuck on my Volvo. They say, ma'am, you don't have army time. She goes, no, I do. Right? They go out and they look and they go, see, you don't have army time. It's regular time, standard time. She goes, oh, there was army time, which was funny. There was army time, But anyways, so then we had this retreat that only me, Debbie, and Winona and Bear went to. Brenda couldn't go, and JoJo was there too. Brenda couldn't go because she had a wedding, I think, or something. I think it was a wedding. She couldn't be with us. It's a retreat in Huguenot, town of Huguenot, which is way past Ellenville, at the YMCA. All mountain terrain. I didn't know the girls were very uncomfortable until I saw what I saw on the mountain, which was demonistic. Huge, huge. Black, horns, jagged teeth, huge, big. I mean big. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. I think we have to go up there for the fire pit to start a fire for the fire ceremony, right? For these people, right? So I decided to walk up there that day, right? And I look and I go, oh my God, the fire ring, if you went behind it and stepped a foot back, you'd be in a ravine 300 feet down in a ravine in the lake. I'm like, oh my God, who would put a fire ring right there, right? And when I was up there was kind of a presence of peace when I was up there. Didn't quite sense anything, but even though I saw something. But when I started to walk down, I felt like I was being watched. That's when I felt like it was different. I felt like I was being watched. So that night, I decided the first night I went home with JoJo. I stayed over her place because it was too far to go from take them home, then I come home and then go back and do it all over again. So the first night I went back with JoJo. The second night, I didn't. I decided to get a hotel for us because I'm not driving this late night. I'm getting a hotel. I need to sleep. So I'm getting a hotel. I can't do all this driving again. Debbie had drove herself there, right? So me and Debbie always talked on the phone when we were driving to go home to make sure we're all safe, right? So I'm on the phone with Debbie. We've already done the retreat. It's like 2 in the morning, something about 2 in the morning. It was around that time. And, I'm on the phone with her, right? And all of a sudden I hear brakes, like, right? And I'm like, Debbie? She's going, Donna, Debbie, Donna, Debbie, right? And I'm like, and all of a sudden I heard this, like, dead silence and a poof. And I went, Debbie, did you go airborne? I did. I'm in a cornfield. Where are you? 212. Debbie, there's no cornfield on 212. No, I'm in a cornfield, big cornfield. Debbie, there's no cornfield. I try to convince her there's no cornfield, right? So now she can't be found. And finally, I borrowed one of the girls' phone to keep her on the phone, and I called 911. So now the tow truck can't find her. The cop can't find her. No one can find her. The cop finally finds her. He leaves her alone after drilling her if she's been drinking, right? And where's the drum, And so finally the tow truck comes and finally gets her out. By the time me and JoJo go to pick her up, by the time we get back to the retreat, it's over with. Because I sent Nona and Bear to go to the retreat. I went to go get Debbie with JoJo. I said, we're going in pairs. We're not doing this alone. We're going in pairs. Because that night, that night, I asked Debbie, I said, you said a deer crossed out in front of you. What really crossed out in front of you? It wasn't nice. Yeah. And then when I came home here, my daughter was woken up by it, and it attacked our little dog, smaller dog. And I had to get a mystic here, actually to clear the house. But when she drew the picture, I said, that's it. That's the thing we saw. That's what we saw. And when my girls were at the fire ceremony, they're both huddled together, looking around. I was like, oh my God, they've seen it too. They did see it, but they didn't tell me. They saw what I saw. But yeah, mountaintops, I swear, mountaintops, they have some crazy beings living in those mountaintops. Crazy, demonistic, crazy creatures.
Wow.
It was crazy. But overall, though, the concert was great. We joined Hannah Field. They came and played with us and went to our drum workshop, and we played in their concert in with them as an extra drum. And then we did our concert, and we did the fire ceremonies. We did drum workshops. We had a blast. Except for that thing, that ended up following us all. Terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience. That wasn't so nice. Yeah. So, anyways, that was that was pretty much all of the all the things I wanted to share. I left my notebook downstairs and we had to reboot.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Did you want to go? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the one with the cannons though, that really got me. That there was an active thing going on there. Because Fort Henry had closed up for the night when everybody left. We were the only ones there that were walking that hill. Everybody were parked along the road and left. We were the only ones left. We had to walk to our car, over the hill and, almost to Grandma's house over the hill. We'll just say that. It was a ways to walk, but it was crazy when all that noise started in. Men started talking and, you could smell like the smoke, from the muskets and stuff.
Wow.
It was wild. Oh, and then one time, me and my mother went on vacation up to my cousin. She lives in Plymouth, and she had a bed and breakfast there, and we went to visit her. And then we went over to the Wampanoags, and I love the Wampanoags Museum. The outside museum was awesome, beautiful, and beautiful people. And then we went over to Puritan side. Oh, we didn't like the Puritan side. They were not friendly people. And they have one church that still stands in there. And we decided to go in the church and look around. Well, of course, I'm not religious, but we went into the church and looked around. And then we went up to the upstairs. On the upstairs of the church, and all the windows going all the way around it, which was about 8 windows, had cannons out of the windows. And when I asked the tour guide, he said the church is left exactly the way it's left, as he knows, but the cannons were basically for the enemies, which was no other than the Wampanoags, And in that church, I could just see, like, just people, like, not nice people, just standing around and almost like wondering, like, what's going on kind of thing, Well, what's going on is that, what you did to almost annihilate a native tribe, But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. That was a crazy area, but the people there were not friendly on that side. And there was a lot of, like, staleness in that area.
Hmm.
Like there wasn't the Wampanoag side was beautiful, and this side was stripped of life almost. It was stripped of life. Wasn't a very nice area. So, anyways, yeah, that was in, of course, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and
Wow.
oh, I remember sleeping in Girl Scouts. I was in Girl Scouts and Sharp Reservation. That's the name of the I guess campgrounds there for the Girl Scouts. Sharp Reservation has nothing to do with you know there were natives that were there, yes, but it's not a reservation. It's just the name of it. And we slept in these like they're almost like trailers where underneath there's nothing, it's hollow like underneath, but they weren't trailers though. They were like cabins, like elongated all together. And all night long, I heard banging up on the floor, like banging. I was awake all night. It wasn't. It was just a really weird area. Like the lake finally dried up. You could walk on the lake with no water, you know, and it was just a weird area. It was a very haunted land. The land was very haunted. But yeah, I remember just hearing all this banging all night long, which to me isn't something good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I remember I felt like I had to get up and go in the bathroom, and I was like, oh God, I don't want to walk out there by myself. So I'm waking up my buddy, come on, I gotta go to the bathroom, come on, walk out with me. Oh, I don't want to, no, come on. They'll get you in here anyways, come on. Oh God, so terrible. Oh man.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy things.
Yeah.
God.
Wow. Yeah, you have you have stories for days.
Yeah, I could. We could go on for another 2 hours, but I don't know how long it's been, but we figured an hour, not to go on like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'll share one.
yeah.
So I had spent the night over at my dad's.
Mhm.
This was what was it, maybe about 15 years ago, and so I was sleeping. So where he was living at the time, um, he stayed in the basement, um, and the basement apartment, and I slept in the room in the back, and he slept in the front. And in the middle of the night, he comes in the room. He says, "Were you just upstairs?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, I heard you calling me from upstairs." And I said, "No, I was sleeping. I was here in the room sleeping." And he says, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I heard you upstairs calling me saying, 'Dad, Dad.'" And now this couldn't have been me sleepwalking and anything like that, because you had to go through the kitchen and you have to go through the living room, and the door is locked upstairs. So it wasn't me sleepwalking. And
Wow.
he said he heard my voice calling him from upstairs, yet I'm in the room in the back in the basement with the door closed.
Mhm.
So I said I don't know what to make of that, but he heard my voice, so it was some, I don't know if it was, maybe an astral projection, or I don't know. I don't even know what to make of that.
Wow. Wow. That's creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time. It was during my father's death. I came home here and it was late. I didn't want to go in the bedroom, and I didn't want to wake my husband up, so I went in my son's room, and he has a bunk bed. So I went on top of this bunk, and I was like, Patrick, what are you doing up? You know, he had this Thomas the Train tent like, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like going inside of it. Should be asleep. So I looked down and he is asleep. He's asleep. But yeah, I saw this little boy going into his Thomas the Train. So that ended that. I was out of there. I said, no, no, no. It's just freaked me out when they're ghosts. So I'm out of there, right? So then the next night comes and I went to go to sleep and I could hear my father calling me and like a hollow, like calling my name, like, right? And I like sat up and I let out the most ghostly scream. I mean, ghostly scream. My husband comes running in, my son pops up, right? And, you know, it's like he's trying to calm me down. It's like I couldn't stay in there. So I ended up back in the bed anyways. But it was crazy. I mean, you know, we always believe that our ancestors call out to us when they're passing, you know, to say goodbye for the last time, you know,
Yeah.
in our dreams. And yeah, that's what it was. It was actually that morning was when he passed. So, yeah. But yeah, that was crazy.
Wow.
But,
Man, interesting.
yeah.
Did anybody else want to share any stories?
I have one.
Okay.
I had a dog, a Bichon, since she was 10 weeks old. And she was just about the love of my life. And she died a week before her 15th birthday. And her name was Siri, Siri. And after she died, it was very hard for me. After she died, I heard the phone, Siri, start to talk. And it doesn't start to talk unless you ask it something. So I went over to it and I said, what the hell's going on? And there was a note on it. Hi, it's me, Siri. I love you, Siri. And that was my baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
She loved her mama.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing what animals do to communicate with us. You know, they do it in many ways, just like people do. You know.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. Should I tell the story about my not really ghostly, my experience with finding who I was in my past life?
Sure.
Okay. It's pretty wild. So okay,
I'm
so
sure.
it's crazy. So when my daughter was about 2, I got in the middle of the night to go check on her, and I didn't know that the door was left open because usually it's closed, but it was like halfway open. I hit the edge of it and I heard a crack. I thought it was my back. Well, as time went on during that week, it was my back. But what happened was that when I went to get up one morning, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't even move. And so Bob called my parents. My father came with a backboard, you know, not a backboard, but a piece of plyboard, thick plyboard. And they put me on that, and then I got into my father's Jeep Cherokee, and he took me to the chiropractors. And I was going to chiropractors for like 2 weeks before I could finally actually walk. But I went to this, I went to Omega here. Me and my friend, she took one class, I took another class. The class I took was this woman that taught Mayan and Pueblo stances that takes you into a trance, right? And she would sing and talk and rattle, and you know, I ended up buying all the tapes from class. And so I decided have my father get my tape cassette and let me, I want to hear them, right? I could only lay on the living room floor. I couldn't move. I learned I couldn't move. What happened was that my muscle, I pulled the muscle, which pulled my spine out of whack, which
Mm.
affected the nerve endings. And so that's why I couldn't actually move. And so, anyways, I was lying on the living room floor. I put in one of the tapes, and next thing you know, obviously I'm not awake, but I'm lying on the floor, and I can hear the tapes. All of a sudden, I'm on an elevator. The elevator opens up, and I get out, and it's during Civil War time. All this firing going, right? What I got, there was teepees all around, and what I got was that I was a Blackfoot woman. I had very long, thick black hair, carried a baby in my arms. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me mute this for a second. Okay, I don't like the dog barking. That's, okay, get me out of full screen. Okay, so, after that, I was shot in the back. And when I was shot, I fell forward on top of the baby. I killed the baby. I was dead. I rose up, stood up straight up, and I looked at the Confederate and I stole a button off his uniform, pulled it off, right? So now, next thing you know, I hear my front door open, my father coming in. So now I'm awake, okay? That woke me up, got me out of it. Is what it did. And he comes over and he goes, "Where'd you get that button from?" Lying alongside of me, right? And I didn't say nothing. I said, "I don't know. Can you just put it up on top of the entertainment center? I don't want to lose it." But anyways, I brought back something with me, so that's why I know that's who I was in a past life. So that's yeah, it was pretty crazy. And
Wow.
I'm very protective over my son, very. Yeah, and I figured out, well, that's why, But yeah, that was crazy because, here I am listening to this tape, of her rattling and singing and chanting, and next thing you know,
Wow.
I'm out into that trance, And when I found out, when I went back to look at my notes, that was a trance. That's what that trance was for, actually, in a sense. Not knowing that I was lying in that certain position,
Wow.
for that trance. So when I was in her class, I was an ant in her class. I was an ant. I was all around the floor, Oh, there's another dog barking again. Dog's driving me crazy. But anyways, yeah.
Was this a story you were telling when you say you had shape shifted?
No, I've had experience on this where I'll be somewheres and then I'll come back and go, whoa, wow, that's kind of cool. I'll be like somewheres, like I can be like anywheres. Like I've been actually at friends' houses and been right there, then back. And so, and I'm friends with an elder that experiences the same thing. So we talk about it all the time, But yeah, pretty crazy.
Wow.
And sometimes I wonder, how do I actually make it back? But I do come back. But yeah, it's like really crazy. No matter where it is, Yeah, my crazy dreams. My dreams are sometimes are pretty haunting dreams. Sometimes I have.
Wow.
We always say we celebrate our nightmares too, but whew, wow. I'm not celebrating them. I'm sorry. Pretty strange stuff. But yeah, that was pretty pretty interesting with a stance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't even know where the button is. I wanted to put it on my regalia, but I have no idea what happened to it.
Oh wow.
But it was a real button. My father said that's a real Civil War button. Where'd you get it from? Oh, not saying nothing. I mean, the nut case, right? In the nut house, you know. What?
Mm.
He probably would have believed me, though. He was Native.
Yeah.
He would have believed me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Amazing.
So, anyways, yeah. So those ghost stories, ah, always like certain like the night of Yule, you know, I'll experience something, you know. It'll be like someone will come and visit, you know. It's always that night. I don't know what it is, but it's always that night. Always that night. It's crazy.
Wow.
And it's always like a family member, you know. Just each
Mm.
family member that does that to me. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, some interesting stuff.
Yeah,
I tell
crazy.
you. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I thank you for sharing all
Oh,
of those stories.
you're
Yeah.
welcome. I'm sure I left a lot out still. You know, you know, we leave the show and I go, oh yeah, that's right. I could have pulled that one there.
Mm.
We'll end up back on again.
Yep. Yeah. Well, hey, we can always do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Because I know you definitely have an endless amount of stories.
yeah. Even in like stores, you know, where I've had people help me, you know, where I've been in one health food store and you know, this woman asked, you know, are you looking for something? You know, she wasn't a worker, but she was just standing there, you know, looking at things along with me, you know. And I said, oh yeah, I have this problem going on, you know. So we'll take this. This will definitely benefit you. Take this here. And so I took it, right? And I went to turn around to say thank you, and she was gone. I went to
Mm.
the whole store looking for her, right? Didn't find
Mm-hmm.
her, right? She had items with her. No, didn't find her. I asked the guy that was working at the desk, where'd that woman go? What woman? Well, she was dressed like, there was no woman. I was like, there was a woman. I was talking to her. She gave me a product to try.
Wow.
Oh, God. It's like, where did that woman go? You know? And then
Mm.
same thing across the river and the health food store over there. Same thing happened. The guy telling me, you know, I said, oh, yeah, I have always teeth problem. You know, this was years ago. And always teeth problems, you know. And I said, yeah, you know, I'm wondering what I can take for my teeth, you know. And,
Mm.
oh, I use this all my life. I haven't had a cavity. I haven't had an infection. I use this for my whole life, right? I go, oh,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. So I go and pick it up and buy it, right? And I go, so what else can you suggest? He was gone.
Mm.
I went looking for this guy, and he's nowhere to be found.
Mm.
Nowhere. And he had goods with him, but he was nowhere to be found. It's like, where did he
Mm.
go?
Oh
You know,
wow.
I'm like, oh boy. And you know, when I think back on it, there was a person in the aisle that was looking at me like, who is she? Like, almost like, who is she talking to?
Mm.
You know. So maybe they didn't see him, but I did.
Right.
You know, I don't know, but anyways, the stuff that it gave me, I use it still today, and I swear by it.
Oh wow.
I swear, it's just for any, it'll take out any tooth infection, any,
Mm. Oh wow.
anyways. But I still use it today. But yeah, those are other crazy things that's happened to me with,
Mm.
you know, turning around and the person being gone, you know, like the guy I gave the business card to, he
Mm.
disappeared. You know, I physically handed him the business card.
Oh wow.
Nona's eyes are as big as saucers. Debbie's like, yeah, like, time to go. Get in the van. Time to go.
Mm.
Don't know. Uh,
Amazing.
yeah. So I will end it with this one, when not really a ghostly thing, but a UFO thing.
Mm.
So, and strange lights. So, when I was a kid, our well went kaput, and we had, no water. So it was dead winter. It was dead in the winter, and we went out and we were getting the ice off the snow and melting it down for water. This one night, we brought out pot and pan to do this, and all of a sudden, this UFO came right above us, like I'm going to say, like 4 feet above us,
Mm.
and it was huge. It was spinning, and it was a UFO. And I took off for the door, went in, locked the door. My aunt's still outside. My mother's yelling at me, "Where's your aunt? Let your aunt in!" And I never said anything until just recently. Me
Mm.
and my aunt never told anyone about that.
Oh wow.
So I'm going to close it with that.
Wow. Oh man. Yeah, I tell you, boy, you do have some stories.
Yeah. So, anyways, Allan says battery died. He's going to plug in and reconnect. Oh, but
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, it's just, always, it's like the houses. Like the front of our neighbor's house was all lit up. No
Mm-hmm.
light out there. The whole house was lit up. Like one big square spotlight. It's like, where was the light coming from? There's no explanation for it. And it's really
Mm.
weird. And then one night, our bedroom lit up. And I went to the door to look out. We have atrium doors, went to look out. And in a circle with a whole bright light of a circle on the ground.
Mm.
And I never looked up to see what it was. I went back to bed. And didn't want to. There we go. Solved that problem.
Wow.
Didn't want to look up. I did not want to look up. I was afraid to
Mm.
look up. I didn't, but yeah, that was really, really.
How big of a circle?
It was huge. It was huge. We
Mm.
have a big backyard, and it was huge. It was huge.
Mm.
I mean, I can't even explain how many feet
Mm.
diameter it was, but
Mhm.
it was huge.
Oh wow.
It was a big circle in the backyard, just on the ground. Really bright, bright light. And
Mm.
I was like, nope, nope, I'm not looking up. I'm not going to do it. I know there's something up there doing it, but I wasn't going to look up.
Mm.
But,
I don't
you know,
blame you.
yeah, no, I wasn't about to do that. So, anyways. But yeah, so that's pretty much that.
Mm.
And I guess but anyways, yeah, so it was good. I think we lost a few people, but anyways,
Yeah, we lost one person.
yeah, Bobbie is still there.
Allan. Yeah, Bobbie's there.
I'm
Allan.
here.
Oh, you're still there. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy. That was
Mm.
pretty crazy. And
Yeah.
even my friend had it one night where her neighbor's yard across the way was all lit up, completely lit up, with a bright,
Really?
bright light. And I thought, I don't know, I just can't explain it. It happened here too. I have no idea what that is,
Wow.
but
Mm.
really strange. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
crazy
deep.
stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Well, I thank you for sharing those stories with us and everybody else who shared with us this night.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely won't be the last time. We'll do it again.
Yeah, yeah, why not, right? We'll do it
Yeah.
again. Yeah, look
Mhm.
at my notes. I wrote some things in my notes that I missed last time. I'm sure I
Okay.
missed it.
Mm.
I had all that internet problem. I don't know why I'm so dark now because it was a little lighter. I don't know what happened.
Wow. Oh, Allan is back.
Oh, Allan is back. Yep. Awesome. Hey, Allan.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
loud
hear
and
you.
Okay. Yeah, it's just powered right down.
Wow.
Plugged in now.
Yeah, that
Mm.
happens, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, something about
So,
UFO that I
so
saw.
where are we now for the stories? Like, I could probably give. I don't know how much time you got left. Are you trying to end now?
Yeah, and pretty soon. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But
Ju-
I was
I just want to
I
give
was
you my
talking about
I just want
I
to give
was
you my
talking about.
experience.
Oh, cool.
I
Yeah,
just
I
want
was
to give you
talking
one of
about
my experiences
UFO.
here at a cemetery.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay, because we went out.
yeah. Go
We
ahead.
we we kind of went out on a one night. We started talking. This was a few years ago. We started talking about about the cemeteries being haunted, or so I said, well, let's go for a drive. So we just up and went to one of the local ones here in Stratford, and
Oh, straight.
well, everyone. What happened was once we got there, the two that wanted to go there wouldn't get out of the car, and then so I ended up walking through, and it was dark. It was around midnight, so I ended up walking through, and with I'm gonna say Nick, I guess, our friend Nick, and all of a sudden he disappeared. He took off on his own, and I said, because I turned around, he was gone. And I'm walking down, and it's almost pitch black. You can just make out the headstones and stuff. But all of a sudden, I see this. There's like a building. I guess maybe it was a maintenance building there, and it had a little light on it. And that's where he was heading. I finally saw him walking that way. So what I did was, just for the heck of it, I said, you know what? I want to try something here, and I had a camera. So I put a camera on one of the headstones, and I pointed it towards where there was lit up, where the light was, and I let it record for 2 or 3 minutes, and think nothing. I said, "Oh, I'll just leave it on." And we finally came back, and we turned around. We went back, and then we ended up going to another place after, which I'll mention in a minute. But what happened was, I checked that. I put the card in the computer, and the camera was moving. The image is actually moving when it was sitting on the headstone. So that was a little bit,
Mm,
like, I don't know what kind of energy that was or what would do that, but that was I
mm,
never thought I'd see something like that.
Wow.
But I guess there is an energy there. I'm assuming, but that was kind of strange. But so later, and I'm not sure if we went there first, but I don't know if you've ever heard about one of the witches, Hannah Crana, in
Yes.
Connecticut. The story there, where she's also buried up in
Monroe.
Monroe. So, and
Mhm.
her gravesite is right beside the road, and there's actually a street light within probably 100 feet of there. So we go there, and sure enough, start looking around, and this is like a how do you call that when people start bringing coins and little gifts, and because
Mm.
she was known as a witch, and
mm,
she apparently, I don't know if she put a curse on someone or on something, but she she swears she wasn't a witch, but I guess they did. I think they hung her.
No, I
mm.
think she drowned.
Okay, but there's a whole story there, and so I go over there again. Now I have my phone, so I put the phone on the camera, and I'm just turning around to see if there's anything that gets picked up, and I go, and then my camera's acting weird. The phone's acting weird. I point it right at the street light that's a little ways away, and my camera's still black. There's nothing. Then I bring it back towards the headstone, and again, I said, I don't know what's going on. My camera is not picking anything up. So sure enough, when I checked that on the card later, it was like when I turned back, it was like an arm went by me.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Mm.
image, you could see
Ah,
it was almost like an arm, and that was the only thing I picked up. So that was that
wow.
was that was very strange too. That was,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
some of these things you just don't think at the time, and then you see something later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, I think there's there are spirits out there,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Definitely.
I'm going to give you just another one. It's kind of funny, but it's my thinking is where I work. We have this one room. We're on our location's kind of out of the way. It's on a back road, and I swear there's got to be Indian burial grounds around here that they actually covered up over the years and all that. Because actually, where I'm located right now, there was an Indian fort within 200-300 feet of here, and obviously from the 1700s, and they obviously tore it down and they landscaped everything. So there's got to be burial grounds around here somewhere that they were never noted or anything. So anyway, we have at this building. I call this room, like I work in a lab, and we have this room to the side. And over the last 2 or 3 years, I started calling it the room of doom because, and I think it's caught on because everyone that's worked in that in that office has been fired, basically fired or let go, or just left. And it's like no one else wants to work in that room anymore because. So I jokingly said one day, well, maybe we're on an Indian burial ground, and this is kind of a revenge thing. So it was just one of those things, like when things happen, and maybe it's very coincidental, but it just makes you think. And I know there's burial grounds. Like I was asked by a lady one time if I could come up and bless her. She said she figured it was an Indian gravesite in her backyard. It occurred to me after. I never did go there, but it occurred to me after. Is like, why would you not tell the state? Don't they have to report stuff like that? Like I don't know what the laws are in New York, but I know for Connecticut, I'm not sure what it is here, but that's the state should know. I think something like that. Now, Donna, have you heard anything something like that where the people have something in their backyard?
Well, if you think about it, every square foot, someone's died in it.
Probably,
especially
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I know in New York State, a lot of that's like brushed under because they see, like if you have like fragments of a wigwam or a longhouse or pottery
Yeah.
or arrowheads, anything like that would be considered sacred grounds. A burial
Right.
is not in the state of New York, so it's difficult,
So, but I guess so. It doesn't really have to be reported though. Like if there's a graveyard or like a gravesite.
Not that I know of, unless it would involve a crime, then yes. But
Okay.
something of the past, probably not. You know, I don't think so. Anyways, New York has weird laws on native burials, and if you look at like the cemetery, I know it's off scale kind of, but the cemetery that's on Route 9, they actually
Right.
moved the cemetery to put in more lanes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why they don't see it as
Yeah.
they see it the same way.
Yeah. Well,
Like
we
yeah,
have. I know of some. Like I've been reading a lot of the history from the 1700s here in Connecticut, and an example is Seymour, which is we're about 5 miles from Seymour, and
oh
there was a small, well, I would say small, but probably 40-50 people living there in the 1700s. And when the state went in and basically took the land, they got someone to sign for all the land along the river here, even though not all the tribes that were here signed. So they had to move. They got them to move because they said, well, there was going to be a town, or they put a town there, and it was
yeah,
actually called it was used to be called Town. Seymour was called
hmm,
Town at one time because it was named after the chief that was there.
yeah, yeah,
And they say the area under the bridge, around that area where there's like a little waterfalls and that, is where the Indian village used to be. And I've been trying to get information on that too, but because I'm sure I heard they just put roads over top the graveyard there. So,
yeah,
again,
yeah. They do that here. Like Route 9, 9G, 9W, the Thruway. There's all burials underneath those roads.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Yeah. And
Wow.
especially the Thruway, there's a lot of accidents on the Thruway, and I really think that's why.
Yeah, well, possible, yeah.
Yeah,
But it is really, it is really sad when the more history I read here, and again, the part that bothered me the most was when you talk to a local historical society, they don't want to talk about the Indians.
Yeah,
No one
no,
wants to talk about who was there before.
no,
And
not
because
really,
yeah,
not really. Yeah, I know it's a lot of it's hush, hush.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, I know. I've
where's
been over to
yeah?
here.
Go
We
ahead.
have the Indian Rock that's in Hyde Park, and it's a known haunted area. But my friend had me go there to check it out, and yeah, it's sad. It's a sad area, and I did see some people that were just there, that didn't move on, and it was indigenous people, and very
Yeah,
sad area.
yeah.
And I've seen in the woods native people at Poets Walk walking through there. I've seen native people through the woods, but
Well, it's weird when I do. I haven't hiked for a while, but I used to do like doing my hiking here, and I even go up to a place near Beacon Falls here in Connecticut, and they have it's like there's like a canyon also almost like when you drive through there, and on the left side when you're going north, there's the highest point's called Toby's Rock, and
ah,
yeah, and they give the whole history on that. It was there was when the state went in to get the Indians to move out of Naugatuck,
mhm.
they they said they weren't going to move, so they sent in the army and basically massacred everyone. Except they went back the next day, and there was a 2-year-old boy still alive, and the
Ah,
state took him as ward. They took him. The state took care of him, and I guess maybe someone actually felt bad about the whole situation, so they actually gave him a chunk of land up on that area, and that's his. They named him Toby. So this whole Toby's Rock in that area, like we're talking like 300 years ago, 250 years ago,
yeah, yeah,
and so they gave him all that big chunk of land up there, and he lived there, I guess, the rest of his life. But one of the things that what I found one of the history books was that he apparently scratched his name somewhere up on a rock up there, and I've been trying to find that for years. Every time I go up in that area, I've been trying to. It's probably gone now because we're talking, with the rain and everything else over a couple hundred years, I'm sure. But you never know.
wow,
And
yeah,
but if the story behind it, just as being the one survivor out of like 60 people that they went in and just massacred, it's really sad.
yeah.
And but like I said, that's the history they don't want you to know. So
Right, right, right. I know here, across the river, um, years ago we fought against a builder. He was going to build all these homes, senior homes, and we fought against it because where he was going to build it was a known site because there was artifacts found there, and a there was a woman that was found there that was an indigenous woman. So we actually won. We won. I heard that they're trying to build again there, but again, just do it all again, right? But
right,
um,
yeah,
because there was a piece of structure found and there was pottery found, it saved it. That's what saved it. Not so much the bones, but the other aspect of it, which is sad. But
yeah,
at least the land didn't get buildings on it because the land had two swamp areas that housed a lot of turtles and salamanders, and there's a lot of animal life through there. That would have lost their homes if they had filled in the swamps and put buildings in there, and it would have been really dumb because it was a dumb area to put buildings. It really was. It's better to leave it left alone,
yeah.
for the yeah, for the other ones that have homes there.
But getting back to the whole theme of this teleconference is the whole indigenous. I believe there's a lot of spirit still here, and like I said, when I do the hiking, I do feel it out in the woods.
Yeah.
There's just so much history here, and
Right.
like I said, I want to find some of these, these graveyards or Indian grave sites, and I know they're here. And like I said,
Yeah.
all we can do is bless them again, or and
Right.
but
Right.
yeah,
That's true.
but yeah, I feel it though. I do feel that's one thing about Connecticut is I do feel the the whole spiritual part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same with here. I mean, you feel a lot of it, especially, like you were talking about the roads.
Yeah.
Especially like the road, like the thruway and the other roads, major roads here. There's parts of the road where there's a lot of accidents, and you really feel like a presence that's underneath that road. You know that they're there. You know that's what they did. And especially like along the river. I've walked along the Hudson River. There's a spot where you can walk along it.
Yeah.
And a lot of native runners have ran that path, which is
Yes.
now a highway by the Hudson River. And there's a lot of Indigenous that are buried actually by that river as being runners, because that's where they were buried.
Yeah.
And then you have the massacre of the Esopus. A lot of them died of smallpox and, just
Yeah.
plain, massacre, And
Yeah,
then the
for sure.
Wappingers that were here. Yeah, the Wappingers that were once here. There were 2 people left of the Wappingers. The one passed on, which I found out recently, which I was really sad because I knew him. And he passed on. Now there's a woman left. There's one woman left, and she's the last, which is really sad,
Yeah.
And some of these Sophis, there are Sophis left, but a lot of them joined the Muncie, and some joined the Micmacs, and and same with the Mohegans. They're out in Wisconsin, a lot of them. So yeah, everybody got, and of course the Quinnipiac. There's no Quinnipiacs left. There's definitely no Quinnipiacs left.
Okay.
They're claimed to be, but they're not. They were long gone.
Okay.
They were definitely long gone. And there's been a lot of that went through. There's nations we don't even know about that had existed that are no more.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know Burger Hill and Red Hook had a nation. Can't remember what they were, but they were no more actually. And they're trying to get rid of the painted wall there.
Oh.
I don't. Some people said I was racist. They already got rid of the memorial that was at the ice cream shop. That's all gone. And then they got rid of. They're looking to get rid of paint over the memorial thing, the wall there. It's like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why paint over it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, all we can do is, like I said, I guess just knowing that, that there were the tribes were in this area for thousands of years, and
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of to me, it's still a good feeling that knowing that, I could have ancestors in this area. You never know, and it's just, just having those thoughts, I guess, is good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you never know.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I'm sure we had some great stories. I'm sure there was still a lot more too, and I was thinking about other little things little things that happen, and you can't explain sometimes, but and I'm sure all of us have had those little things, and
I'll have a few.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. A lot of unexplained things out there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that crazy time when, like I was saying before, um, when me and my daughter were supposed to go to this one house, and I got there, there's only one car down that long driveway. I thought, well, I ain't going to the house because, who are these people? I only know them, but I knew people that were going there too.
Yeah.
So I decided to just go past and just go take a ride up the road. And on the left, it's all woods on that side, completely woods. And there in a big circle were these people that were in cloaks with the hoods up with a fire in the center. And I was like, the heck did I just see? So I go up the road, I turn back around, I come back down, and it's all gone. It's just woods.
Sound like
All gone.
they do it. What color were the cloaks?
Black.
Druid,
Yeah, they were
sound
black.
like druids.
Yeah, druids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were black. Yeah. They
Yeah.
were black.
Yeah, they might
It
have
was,
opened a portal, back in the days,
yeah, right? I've seen a portal, yep.
Mhm.
But then when I came back down, all gone. All woods, all thick woods. No more, you know, cleared out circle with, these people with cloaks on with the hoods over them. And with the
Yep.
fire's all gone. All trees.
Mm.
Like, well, I'll take my daughter to Burger King. She can play in the thing and I can eat. She can eat. Then we ended up seeing
Mm.
a friend that had her granddaughter there and they played. And that was my night. I never made it to whatever the native thing was.
Mm.
I never asked anyone either. I thought it was so weird. So
Mm.
strange.
Yep.
I have no idea what that was about.
Mm.
But yeah, that was wild though. It's so
That
unexplained.
is.
And I
Yeah.
didn't realize someone recently said you saw a portal. You saw entrance to
Mm.
a portal. It's like yeah, makes
Now,
sense in a way.
where was this?
This was in Esopus across the river from me, and
Mm.
it's up a road that you go up the hill, up the road. You either turn left or right. You can't go straight. But
Mm.
there's only one house on it. That was the house I was invited to. The rest of
Mm.
it's all woods, and it's still pretty much that way today. I think. Anyways,
Mm.
I know. Recently, I decided to go up the road, and there wasn't much on it. And I didn't
Mm.
see no portal that time. I decided to go up it.
Mm.
I know another town. All right, we'll close with this because now almost 2 hours again. But I'll close with this. The town of Rosendale is extremely haunted.
Mm.
Wow.
Not just by indigenous, but by non-indigenous. In that Esopus Creek there, a lot of times there's a lot of rock in there that sticks up, and a lot of times the water's low. But there was a lot of depth in that water, and
Wow.
indigenous and non-indigenous, Esopus and Dutch, because that was a really a big, huge Dutch area. So it was the Dutch and the Esopus. But I went with a friend walking on those rocks and going through the creek, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Let's go back. It was the energy was so brutal, brutally painful, not just emotionally but physically. That I couldn't even
Mm.
stay there.
Wow.
I just saw blood everywhere. I just was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. So I went back. We go back to my friend's house, which is in Rosendale, and she says, "Oh, the upstairs used to be a florist. Okay, you want to come see? Okay." I go up the stairs, and there's like these bars on like where you can see through into this like shackled room. There was a bench there with shackles on it for the wrists and the legs and the waist. I'm like, what are you
Wow.
taking me to? What the heck is this? Right? This was no florist. No way. It was a
Wow.
place where they probably kept people that were either interrogated people, or they enslaved people, or people that were born with, defects or whatever, whatever
Right.
they're mentally or physically or whatever, right? And we went, when you go through the rooms upstairs, you go from one bedroom to another bedroom to another bedroom. They're not divided. You just walk through all three, right? And her bedroom was in the center. It was her aunt's house. Her bedroom was in the center. And I said, she told me that a lot of times her bed shakes and the drawers open, things shake, right? Let's go in the other room because I don't like my own bedroom, right? So we go in the other room and we could hear what was going on in the other bedroom. It was like, what's happening here? It's like rattling the whole upstairs, you know? So I was like, I'm out of here. Let's go somewhere else. Not your aunt's house. Let's go somewhere else. So we did, we left. But yeah, that was crazy. That was just plain dark energy.
Wow.
However they kept up up those stairs. But I told her there's no way this was a florist. There's no way. It was, no. Or shackling plants or what? God.
Oh, man.
Very bad. But the whole Rosendale, that whole stretch is very strange. Very strange. Now it's very artsy fartsy, you know. Artsy fartsy people moved in artsy fartsy, but you know, it's still very strange. Especially those houses, and you know, the creek runs behind those houses. So it's
nice.
God, crazy. Really
Wow.
crazy.
You know, I read the autobiography for Keith Richards, and he talks about he owned a property down in Greenwich, here in Stamford, here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And in the book, he says that he was kind of jokingly saying something. He says, "Oh, there used to be an Indian burial ground or something in his backyard," but he didn't elaborate on it. And
wow.
and he kind of thought it was kind of funny. He says, "Oh, I've always told there were Indians living here or something," but it's in his autobiography, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, wow. Could have been, could have been. You know, like I said, someone's died every square inch, you know, every square foot, someone's died.
Exactly.
Or individuals are died, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. And you know, well, I've seen that spirit world is right here. Everybody looks up in the sky, but it's really not the sky. It's really above the land. That's where the spirit world is. We're mixed in with them. It's just that they can't see the buildings like we see. What we see is trees and you know grass and beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. I've been there. It's beautiful. I'll just say that. I've seen it. It is beautiful. Yeah. But you know, yeah. So
you know,
we're mixed with them.
When I went back to the reservation. Like I said, I was born on the reservation, and then my mom moved me off when I was about 5 years old. But I would go back all the time, spend time with my grandmother or my aunts and uncles, and I remember staying with one of my aunts, and she was my mom's oldest sister, and I was standing in the kitchen and looking. She had a big field in her backyard, and I saw a light flash. And I told her, I said, "Did you see that?" I said, "I just saw something." And this was like near sunset, and it was still fairly light, but I could see out in the field this flash. Well, I told my aunt, and she immediately she almost scared me because she grabbed the sweet grass. She started burning everything, and she says that could have been a bad spirit, and she just so she was really into the whole bad spirit and the good spirit stuff, and it actually almost scared me. I was like wondering what's going on here, but she really believed in the whole thing about cleansing, and that was. But to actually see it happen like that, it threw me off. But I guess that was just part of that's the way she grew up too.
Wow. Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah, I've actually seen like things where unexplained lights.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
Like off in a distance, there's like an unexplained light, and then all of a sudden it like moves and then disappears. It's really weird. you know. And I've actually taken pictures in my own house when the lights when the lights off to where the flash goes off, and then you see
Yeah.
these orbs all over, orbs, you know.
Okay,
Um,
here's a question. Have you ever, because now we have, you can get a phone or your camera with the night vision, and I've been meaning to. I think I did it one night. I didn't see anything. I put it on. I left the camera on for about an hour one night, but I have the one where it's you can set it to it's time lapse. Have you done that yet, or has anyone ever done that like in their house?
I've done films in my house where I've let it run for a while and then go back and look at it, and I've seen things that way.
Hmm.
I don't
You
know if
know,
that
you
makes sense.
know, Veronica told me one time though. She said, "If you ever see anything on there, don't tell me." She said.
That's
So,
funny.
I've seen that. I've seen that before. A friend of mine, I used to call her the ghost lady,
yeah.
and she's had footage like that, and you see
Yeah,
you see all kinds of things. Yeah.
No, I'd be
yeah,
interested because here's
I've
my
seen it.
thinking. But here's my thinking. I've been in this place now close to probably 10 years. And if there were bad spirits here, I think I would have felt or heard something by now. There was something that was bad. So
Yeah.
I think if we ever picked up something like that, I don't think it's here to
Mhm.
harm us.
Right, right, right.
And I think when you were on your break, I gave the story about the guy next door passed away a couple years ago. He was born in the room, actually in the room I'm in right now. He was born here. He died at 77
Oh,
years old. And
wow.
Veronica's daughter swears that she sees a little boy like from the early 1900s. She said, they wore those caps. The little boys wore those
Yeah,
caps. She swears that she sees that outline once in a while here. So that's possible.
yeah. It is possible. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but again, I'd like to know the history. Like I said, this place I'm in is about 110 years old. So, and it's because it's a 3-family house. I'm sure that there's lots of things could have happened in here.
yeah.
So
Right.
that amount of
Yeah.
time. But now, do you actually believe in the whole thing about if you bought a piece of furniture, a used piece of furniture, and brought it home? Someone say that things can be carried with that. Is that what's your thinking on that?
Yeah. They used to have a
Yeah.
TV show. What was the name of that show that used to come on? Oh man, it was a show that dealt with
Yeah.
that type of thing.
That's what it is. Yeah, I've watched it a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah. I know what you're
I
talking
forget
about,
the
but I
name.
forget. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
had
do
that
believe.
happen to me. I bought a piece of furniture, and that night I felt an old man, very
Mm.
confused. And I
Wow.
crossed him
Wow.
over. I told him to call for his wife, call for his family, and he was gone. So it's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe in that too. That's why I don't like the like. I've seen some things in the antique shops that I thought, oh, that's really nice, and I'd be like, oh, yep, no, 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 never mind. It can stay right there.
Well,
But
we
yeah. Oh,
years ago we
oh,
bought a bookcase. We bought a bookcase, and I no longer have it. It was beautiful. It was a nice book. It was solid wood and everything. And I think we got it at Goodwill, and we had it for 3 or 4 years. And there were these strange marks on it though, like burn marks, or it was just weird. Like so, we always
wow.
thought that maybe there was something with this. So we ended up getting rid of it. I don't know if it's just because it was either too big or there was just something weird about it too. Something.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
so maybe that's possible too. Like the whole thing of bringing something home, and you just don't want to bring any bad spirits home. That's the main thing, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. I don't think, we really don't have anything here that's like old. Well, no, I can't really say that. I have an old scattercomb basket that I
Okay.
have here from Revolutionary War time. but it's a scattercon basket, and I don't feel anything from that though. I really don't.
Oh, now I got okay. Now that just opened up. I got another good story for you, quick.
Okay.
My one of my cousins' his ex-wife, but we're still really good friends. And we went up. I took my daughter to the powwow up there about 3 or 4 years ago. We have our annual powwow the first week of June. So my cousin's ex, she's so nice. She's remarried to actually Reggie Leach. She used to play for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. So she remarried, and she does really well. She has a prestigious job. She was named for one of the top female entrepreneurs in Canada and everything else. And she's native. Well, she has a collection. She almost has a museum in one of her rooms, and has all these old antiques, all Native American, and that she either bought or were given to her. And you go in there, it's just amazing. You see all the stuff she has on the wall. She has them in the glass cases. So when we went up for the powwow, she said to me, says, "Oh, if your daughter wants to stay at our place for the 2-3 days, that's fine." And I said, "Okay." And so my youngest daughter, Kaylin, she stayed there. And so sure enough, the first day, Dawn had to go to work, but she says she showed her where everything was. When you wake up in the morning, you can make your own breakfast. Everything's here, everything's there. And so my daughter gets up and she's making a coffee, and this room is adjoining the kitchen. And she's sitting there having a coffee, and she's hearing noises coming from that room. She said she didn't know what to think. She said, I know there's antiques in there. She says, I didn't know what to think. She said, I wouldn't go to the room. She said, so I think there's something there too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. She felt that. Yeah, I would say so. I think things do come on old furniture and old, artifacts and even old jewelry.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I have here my grandmother's clock. It's a clock that was clock company from Connecticut, and she was the one that actually made that clock that I have. And I don't really feel anything bad on the clock. The clock doesn't run no more, but I use the back of the clock to hide things in it.
Well, where I'm living right now. Yeah, where I'm living right now, Aunt Sonia was basically world famous for their clocks in the 1800s.
Yeah,
and a lot of clocks. They had a lot of clock factories here.
Yeah, there are a lot of clock factories there. Yeah. Yeah, the one that I think this clock doesn't glow in the dark, so it's not making us sick. I'll just say that from Connecticut. But it's a nice looking clock, but it just doesn't run no more.
Well, no, but they say, right? Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh, right. That's right. It is.
That's what they say.
Oh, I got a good one about clocks. So now every year, twice, I replace, although I didn't do it this year, I gave up. Every year, I would replace all the batteries in all our clocks. We have a thing about clocks, I guess, especially my husband, okay? So in 2 days, every clock will say something different. Doesn't matter. They will all be different. They either stopped or they're all at a different time. It's so crazy. Like, what time is it now? 9:41. Okay, so that clock is right. That clock is not right. That one's right. That's not right. That's totally off. And then the others down going through the rest of the house, they're all off. So I just give up. This year I didn't do it. I just said forget it. I'm not replacing all the batteries. It's useless because all the clocks eventually stop, or they have a different time, totally different time. Like that one over there is off by hours.
Way back in the 50s or 60s, there was a song. There was a song out there. about grandfather's clock, and
Ah,
and it remember I don't know if you remember it, but it was basically when the old man died, the clock never ran again. And now I don't
oh,
know where that came from or where that's it was that
that's
just
funny.
I don't know if the
Yeah,
guy
my
they wrote the song as a comedy thing or was it
yeah, it might be
kind
a
of
comedy
serious?
thing. Yeah, my son has my father's jewelry chest, and there's a watch in there. Every once in a while, I'll take it out. When the watch doesn't run. It's dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't run. But there's been several times where he took it out where the clock started to run, started to move.
Ah,
Yeah,
wow.
that's
Yep.
crazy. That's crazy. I swear it's my father doing that. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, he one
Well,
time he
you know
called
what?
me in. Sure.
Okay, so here's another good question for you. My
Yeah.
my mom passed away in 2014, and the whole thing. And I went up there, and I actually did. I don't know how I got the
Mm.
how I got the energy, but I actually played Amazing Grace at the funeral on one of my flutes. Because someone asked me later and said, "How could you have done that?" I was standing right beside my mom's coffin,
Mm.
and someone said, "How I don't know how you could have done that." And I said, "Well, I think she would have understood, and
Mm.
because she knew what I was doing with the whole flute thing, and
Yeah.
but that's why I always wonder about that if the well so no here's so my question is people always say that sooner or later you're going to get that signal or something, and I'm still
Mm.
waiting. I'm still waiting, and I know it's going to
Mm.
come. I'm either going to hear something or feel
Yeah.
something. Like I think a couple times I almost did. Like I think one time I think I heard her voice, but
Yeah.
you're not sure, right?
Yeah, you will, or even in your dreams. A lot of times they visit us
Yeah,
in our dreams. You know,
yeah.
I've had
Okay,
my father come in, my mother come in the dreams.
okay.
I saw my father recently, actually, and literally saw him
Okay.
physically. And I remember years ago I was singing with the community, and um, it was right after my father passed, and um, my attention was drawn to the back of the church where the entrance was because we were doing something for the church. And I saw my father standing there, like at the entrance of the church coming in. And,
Wow.
you know, wow, and I'm there singing and with my rattle, And, yeah, I think, and that confirmed it to me that he was, he knew what I was doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I say
He was proud.
I still think it's going to come like um, a louder signal or something that's
Yeah,
like I think I felt something, but at the same time, it's just it's just
yeah.
tough. It is tough.
You'll get it when you least expect it. That's usually what happens. When you don't
Okay.
expect it, you'll get
Yeah.
it. You get the signal. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so yeah. It's I a long time ago I had a dream where it was my father, my cousin, and my uncle, my father's brother, and my father's nephew, who was actually my cousin. Um, they were standing there looking at me, and they were discussing about being proud. That was my dream. I thought, oh, they must know what I've been doing, you know. But it's
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
even though they're not here, they seen what I was doing, I guess, and wanted to confirm it in my dream.
But one of the things that and again, we're going to be in a situation someday too, and I don't like talking about this, but once
Mm,
when we get older and and we have and our children do well and grandchildren, you know in your head sometimes you just think like how proud your mom and dad would be of your
Yeah.
grandkids and everything, and their accomplishments. And for them not to be here to see those, it's sad, because I know we're going to be there like that someday too. But like she, even when I think about my mom, like she would be so proud of how because
Yeah.
when she took care of my son for the longest time, like when he was young, and for where he is now, where he's worked himself up to. And then even my youngest daughter, she's getting her master's degree right now at the University of Alabama. I mean, she would be so proud of it, and it'd be just, yeah.
Yeah, I know, I know. It's the same feeling, I like when we first won for our rising up at the Nammies.
Yeah.
We all, like, Debbie just lost her mother. Jojo and Nona lost their mother. I lost my mother and my father, and just that feeling. Brenda's father had been gone already, so we all had someone that we, and just thinking, it's a shame that they're not here to see this,
Yes.
that really hit,
Yes. And that's what I think about. I think about that a lot, it's tough.
Yeah. And even if my cousin was still alive, that would have been cool too, but he passed long before that. But, it was, it's just sad that, life is so short sometimes.
Yeah, we don't realize till we get up there.
Yeah, true.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then then it seems to speed up. After 50, it just seems to, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it does. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at the 2.5 hour mark.
Yes, we are. I don't know how we do that. We do that.
But it's been a pleasure and a blast, and we definitely have to do this again.
Really nice.
Yeah. Thank everybody for joining.
Now, where are you located, Fierce?
I'm in the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in the Bronx.
Well, you should have a lot of good stories over there.
Yeah, I told one of them last week. That wasn't last week. It was last month. Yeah,
okay.
We did our show. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
But I only had one experience here, so.
Yeah. Well, just a quick another quick thing here. Just and I used to live up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and one of my brothers lived there with his wife. They were renting an apartment. It was another old building. They were renting an apartment, and they had I think at the time their daughter was around 4 or 5, and so I moved away from there after that, and I ran into them about a year later. They were at a different place, and she says, "Yeah, we had to move because my daughter kept seeing someone in one of the closets." And she said that was it. She said that place was haunted. She says we had to get out of there. She says my daughter kept seeing some guy standing in a closet. So yeah. So, she said finally on the last time, she said that was enough. We're out of here.
I hear that.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Next time I'm gonna ask her about that story again.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Look forward to having you on here again and sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'll close out now.
Yeah.
And, okay. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice to see you guys, and nice to see you, Donna. We got to get together sometime.
Yes, we do. We do.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do it again.
All right. You take care.
Okay. Y'all do the same. Take care, Donna.
Okay. All right. Good night.
Night. Night.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Okay. Yes, so that's it. We're going to close out the show. And I Hope we didn't scare y'all too badly. And so until the next time, Doda dog, Hold on 1 second, Donna. I'm closing out the show. Hold on.